go.
bro. And when you're talking, I think the biggest thing too, and what I like about what we're talking about now is that I feel that progressively through this conversation, it's me maybe identifying things or sharing things openly and publicly that might help me get to that point.
100%.
Because after I said everything I said about not being ego driven and all of that, and that's fine, and it's like, what in my mind makes me feel like sharing my work, even if it is about me, is ego driven? Because it's not. And I think it's the spirit you have and the way that you approach it, because don't stories inspire us all?
Right.
You were just talking about music scores and what was his name?
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer probably doesn't go into it and be like, how can I share this without coming up? He just shares what he's passionate about. And him scoring something makes you feel something because it's attached to a cinematic look, right?
Yeah.
But then also other people maybe just share their testament. We all just watch Coco. When the tennis, we watch all these athletes and superstars just merely chasing their dreams. Even if we can't identify with it or perform at the level that they can, we are still inspired because watching them and the tenacity and the integrity and the skill set and the time that they've put in to get to that point inspires us, or at least inspires me. So I think that while I'm talking about it, could it be as simple as maybe you haven't put anything out that truly talks to who Kyle is and that truly inspires you in the way that you would be comfortable and confident about, and not even think about the ego side of it, because you know you're merely putting this work out to share that this is what is true to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that is what will draw people and impact people by the way you tell your story or the way you articulate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just me kind of brainstorming out loud, to be honest with you, bro. Kind of like flushing out thoughts.
Yeah. No, but then in that, what you just explained, you're in posting and basically you relying on yourself in a way where you're approving it when you put it out. Are you okay with it? You're disassociating yourself from the people online.
Yeah.
You're cutting yourself away from the distraction of a like, a comment, a share, right? Because you've already got yourself to that heart posture where putting it out is just good enough for you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even about social media. It's about
intention.
You. And it's exactly, you're being intentional with your work. You enjoy your work. You're satisfied with your work. And there's no anxiety in that. There's no, reluctancy in that, because you're confident.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's just what it boils down to.
And the intention of why I'm doing it. Why are you sharing this? Because I can tell people, like, it's not about the likes, and I can tell myself that. But if that's not what's in my heart, then I'm lying to myself.
Yeah.
If you can not like something, you can see my story and not like it, and see the post and not like it, and never say anything about it. And if that's something that's important to me, and I think that you are important, or I know you're important to me, and I value in that way, why would I feel a way because you did? Maybe it just didn't speak to you. So that's something I'm working on outside of creativity, is be intentional about what you are doing and be able to stand on it. Yeah. So if I send you a text in the morning like, Kane, have a great day, bro, love, I'm praying for you, wishing you the best. If I'm sending that to anybody, anything that I do, I'm getting to a place where it's like I don't even expect a response, because I don't want that to be the reason why I did it in the first place, or something that I'm dependent on to still be genuine in whatever I share. So maybe it's just applying that same principle to my work as well, and it just questions my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, why are you really doing it? And obviously a lot of creatives kind of refer to their passions and the things that they practice in their art forms as their babies. Yep. And they're sensitive about their art, and I don't want to but I think for me, I have to ask myself, like, why am I sensitive about it? Is it because I put that much time in? Is it because I feel like people should view it in the way that I view it? Is it because that's what gives me validation? Or is it because, like I said, I want it to be impactful, and I just hope that it impacts people? So if I put it out and the only thing I'm concerned with it is if this speaks to me, and if this is inspiring work to me, and this is what I was convicted to share, it's not mine anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's out, and whoever gravitates towards it. But it's just about finding that for you, putting it out, and keeping it moving, I think.
Keeping it moving. That's it. You got to keep it moving. You got to, what did you say last time? You got to drop the seeds and walk away. You can't
plant
sit
the seeds.
You know what I mean? You got to have that heart posture, because it's sometimes not up to you what it'll do.
Yeah.
Right? You created it. Do with what you will.
Yeah.
And move on.
Bro, I got to say this. one of the people that I'm close to in my life. We don't talk every day, but he's like a big brother figure.
Yeah.
His name's Dre.
Okay.
And Dre said something. It's like a tight community, bro. His sister does my hair. His brother lines me up. It's just like a family thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were at the shop one day and we were just kicking it, and I asked him, like, bro, how can you like hold the posture? Like, he's everyone's big brother, even if that's not biological. He just has that posture. Like, he's a father. He's a big brother. He's just like, I got it. Don't worry about it. And I asked him, like, where did he get that from? And he like, bro, that's a testament to my mother and my upbringing and having siblings and being the oldest. You just are groomed in that way. Yeah. But he said something, and he was like, I'm okay with just planting a seed. He was like, I'm okay with sometimes being a blessing to someone. I'm okay with knowing that I might just be the shade for someone else's life, or I might plant a seed and never see it grow, but that seed might turn into a tree that provides shade for somebody that I might never meet, and I'm okay with that. And that impacted me because I'm like, it speaks to his intention. And it's all universal, but it's like so many times in my life I've like planted seeds and then I've stared at it. Like you gotta grow, bro. Yeah, then I get upset because I'm like, God, you said if I planted the seed, so you have to make it rain. Yeah. So the thing that you told me to cast out will then permeate the soil, and then that thing in the soil will grow. So am I now mad at God, and I'm mad at the person or the thing or the situation because it's not growing? Then it goes back to like, you just didn't want to plant seeds anyway. You're not okay with being a seed planter. That's what it is. Jeez. You know what I mean? And I think going through that process, bro, is like, it's ongoing. You know what I'm saying? Because I can talk about it with the creativity, but now that we're talking about it, as I brought Dre into it, and I'm just thinking about my life, it's like, how many relationships or times at work or things that have happened in my life that I can say maybe I was convicted, and it's our mission and it's our job and it should be our purpose to plant seeds. But how many times have I done things expecting something, even if it's not from that person, expecting a response? I planted something, but that's not up to you. So I think it's just a heart calibration and making sure that I'm postured correctly so that I can do what I'm supposed to do, but be content in that. Yeah. But really be like, not just get on this platform and say that I'm content, but be, if I send a message, if I open a door for someone, if I let someone borrow something, if I speak a positive word, and then if it doesn't come back, if I don't get that same love, if nobody, but not be frustrated, not be, because my posture should be the same consistently, and I should be intentional about what I'm doing, and the reason why I'm doing it shouldn't be predicated on the response. Yeah, we kind of went like, I kind of went,
but it goes back to
heart.
Okay, so I love everything that you've been saying, bro. You went there, and I appreciate it though, because it needed to be said, because it's the truth. Yeah, I think when it comes to being in that posture of planting a seed and being okay that you're not going to probably see it grow, that's wisdom. And that's also maturity, right? Because how many times do we shortchange ourselves because we're sitting and we're staring at it like, God, I did this, and we want to be affirmed, we want to be validated in it, right? When God just said, plant it and go. When God just said, plant it and go. Take care of everything else after this. Go. This is the first task. You're on to the next task. Bro, it's that simple.
It's so good because I want to give an example, or like just what's happening in my mind where you're saying that, bro. Okay. And I don't know the whole process, but we're talking about planting seeds. Why would I even try to sit there and wait? If we're talking about a realistic seed, it's nothing grows immediately, for one. Right. I'm not soil. I'm not temperature. I'm not the environment that can curate and help that seed to grow, right? So I'm nothing that can help incubate that thing in a way that's going to help it to grow.
That's good.
Why am I waiting? Even if I was, it doesn't happen immediately. Even if it happened immediately and I'm still not the thing that can incubate it, I still have no control over it, period. So we're in this cycle, not being pure and following what we're supposed to do by just planting seeds and going with the right heart posture. You waste time, you become frustrated, and you become a part of this cycle where you're expecting something to happen, and that never was what you were called to do.
And it's selfish.
100%. It just doesn't make sense to me, bro. That would be like a farmer planting seeds, right? And every time he's waiting on everything to like, no, you have to plant it, till it. There's still a process for everything.
It's work.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I don't. It's just, you know. So it's just as we're talking about it. I hope it's not coming off as rambling, but it's just like enlightening for me. But it's also like, check your heart posture, and maybe just sharing your story genuinely. Is what will inspire people. If you really want to make an impact, it sounds like you're trying to, and I'm talking up to myself, but it sounds like you're trying to control the seed more than plant the seed.
Hey.
Because how can I can't predict or determine what the outcome or impact is that someone's going to have based on me sharing my work. Period.
Yeah.
What if this is my work?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You just made me think about this, bro. How many of us are just not okay with our position on the team? How many of us are receivers, but we want to be quarterbacks?
Yeah, I've been there, bro.
How many of us are point guards, but we want to be centers? Or how many of us are centers, but want to be the point guard? When you go to any sport, everybody wants the ball in their hand. But we realize that the leaders are usually the people who aren't the ones with the balls in their hand. They're the ones who are mentoring. They're the ones who are helping. They're the ones who are being available, and they're the ones who have the voice on the team. That are they're bringing the team together, and they're bringing the team into the promised land, essentially, right? Without the ball in their hand. So how many of us are just not okay where we're placed? And we're trying to control where we're placed. But when God is saying, just focus where you're at, do what I ask, and go on to the next thing. You're going to see this thing. You may not see this thing, but nevertheless, even if it doesn't happen, So why is it that we are so stuck on being in the positions of impact? Because I'd even go as far as to say that sometimes the impactors are they're idolizing the impact. They're not even really in it for the right reason. They're idolizing what can come from it. So if I'm trying to walk into the store and I want to impact everybody there, I want to influence, I want everybody to go watch my podcast, I could very well be more in love with the idea that, wow, they're just going to watch me on the podcast and not organically. They could just, it may well just come across their timeline. We may just hear about it a couple months from now, whatever, right? That's like posting something and waiting for it to blow up. Or even worse, that's like posting something because you want it to blow up. And you're just not okay with just posting something. Right? So it's so many layers to dropping the seed and walking away, or dropping the seed and looking at it, because how many of us are how many of us are guilty of being in that position where we are literally losing our minds? Because that only creates anxiety. It does. And it only creates fear of not being good enough. And it just creates this revolving cycle of not only creating half-baked things, but having false expectations about what it is that we're actually doing and why. We can't have true peace if we're only focused on creating something that doesn't even come from us in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, I've had checklists before, like when it came to posting things, and this is just me being honest. You know what I mean? It's a moment of vulnerability, but it's like I've lived in that, which is why I'm talking through that, because I'm still healing and reestablishing myself in that, like from that, you know what I mean? But before I go post something, I was like these mental boxes I was checking, like, is the photo good enough? Is it going to get this reach? Does it speak to the aesthetic of my page? Does it highlight the fact that I'm a portrait photographer? Does it? And it was all of the, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, you're never going to make the right impact the way that you're supposed to, because of where your heart posture is before you even can put this work out. But you were saying something, bro, and this might be a stretch. I'm going to still use the example, but you were talking about being on a team and how many of us want to be in a different position other than the one that we've been called to. And the funny thing about that is that if you you try out for a team and you make the team, clearly you're good at the position that you were put in. So maybe you should focus on that. And that's a testament to like a lot of things. But I say that to say this. I was watching this video, bro, and it was on social media. Maybe you've seen it. It was 2 border collies, and it was a guy that had 2 border collies, and he had a stick, and he was like on his farm. He had land, and some people that's watching this might have seen it, but he had a stick, and it was a mother border collie or maybe like the older sibling, and then it was the younger one, but they were the same size. He had a stick, and everywhere he moved a stick, the border collie in the front was watching the stick. And he was like, a man just left from me, guys. I had to do this video because he just gave me a lesson about border collies. The one behind the front one doesn't look at the stick at all. He's watching the movement of the border collie in front, and he mirrors his movement. So whatever the front border collie is doing, he's not distracted by that because his job is just to follow the one that's in front. So while he's moving this stick, bro, the one in the back, response time is so crazy, but it's not responding to the stick. It's responding to the movement of the one that's in front.
Wow.
So that speaks to us playing our position,
Yeah.
but then that also speaks to obedience, and that also speaks to planting a seed because that one in the back is merely focused on what's in front of it right away, and I'm not impacted or affected by what the next person is focusing on or what's important. You know what I mean? So it's just, and it's also being in right standing and in alignment and obedient. You know what I'm saying? So it just, I was watching, I'm like, this is crazy, but and it was inherent.
Yeah.
It was just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's amazing when you think about it, bro. It's like, how willing are we to fall in line and play our position in obedience?
Yeah.
For a common goal.
Yeah.
And that's something I battled with, bro, before. And it's like, God stripped me of that. And I'm sure that it's an ongoing process, but it's just something that I've had to fall on my face. I've had to be corrected. I've had to be chastised. But the end result is, for me, was God saying, regardless of where you go, I put you there.
Yeah.
You're mine. I got you. So don't despise the day of small beginnings. Don't despise your position. Don't get so caught up in what you think you want because you don't know what my plans are for you, but just know that they are to prosper you. So whether it's preparation, whether it's to gain a sense of clarity, or whether it's to prepare the thing that I have for you, play the position that I've put you in. So, yeah. I think we kind of, bro.
Half hour right now.
We had a half hour? Oh, we good. We out.
Yeah.
You want to do an outro or what?